so that money, property and power are shared more equally. Above all, liberals are supposed to be tolerant. Yet here they are, screaming, shrieking, hollering and hectoring us all into a world of staggering intolerance and attempting to inhibit or silence our freedom of speech, particularly on our most pertinent societal issues. How has this happened? Why has this happened? What will stop it? When I first began writing this book in late 2019, I assumed it would lead to me being publicly cancelled the moment it was published. I'd be shamed, vilified, mocked, abused, bullied and no-platformed. My book signings would be met with protests, possibly even threats of violence. And my media appearances to promote the book would be weirdly contentious. In fact, even the announcement I was writing a book on liberalism would be the catalyst for an immediate outpouring of liberal rage on social media, and accusations that I was just another middle-aged white conservative bad guy. Many would simply refuse to believe I could possibly be a fellow liberal, trying to stop good people like them, calling me out for my nasty, bigoted, in their eyes, opinions. This, after all, had been happening to anyone who dared to challenge the woke worldview. Woke is a word that modern liberals proudly use to justify their illiberalism. Only they are awake enough to see how the world should be, while the rest of us, imbeciles, are too sleepily stupid to understand. As with so many things hijacked and abused by modern illiberal society, the term was first used with the very best of intentions, in political ads supporting Abraham Lincoln during the 1860 US presidential election. The Wide Awakes movement was spawned by young Republicans to oppose the spread of slavery. Being woke burst into modern popular culture in a 1962 New York Times essay written by William Melvin Kelly entitled "If You're Woke, You Dig It," and in Erykah Badu's 2008 song Master Teacher, in which the soul singer repeats the phrase, "I stay woke." It was supposed to indicate someone having a sharp political awareness of systemic social and racial injustices, which is an entirely admirable trait. But in recent years, being woke has come to mean having an intransigent intolerance of myriad, often very trivial and pointless things, and the broadness of the woke charge sheet is growing absurdly long and often utterly ridiculous. In the process, it's become a label attracting derision and mockery, gleefully used by right-wingers as a taunting tagline stick to beat liberals. And the essence of what being woke originally stood for has been completely lost. Rather than understand this and recalibrate what being woke means, many liberals have instead become the very people their opponents mock them for. A bunch of constantly outraged illiberal lunatics who refuse to tolerate anyone or anything that doesn't fit their savagely prohibitive, progressive agenda. None of the faux outrage I anticipated over the publication of this book would bother me, because I've spent years in the eye of the illiberal liberal storm. The woke crowd particularly loathed me because the informed ones know I'm actually a liberal. So on paper, I'm one of them. I'm therefore the enemy within. For example, I consider myself to be a feminist, but whenever I say this, people, especially radical feminists, laugh with snorting indignant derision. They think this must be a preposterous notion, given how often and loudly I rail against absurd gender issues, and the even more ridiculous antics of men-haters falsely claiming to be feminists. But I've loudly supported women's rights, as well as civil rights, gay rights, and transgender rights, apart from the absurd new trend of limitless gender self-identification. And I don't have a prejudiced bone in my body. Yet that hasn't stopped them regularly and furiously branding me racist, sexist, homophobic, and transphobic. There's no room for logic or reason in the world of illiberal liberalism. It's not what you believe that matters, so much as how you express your beliefs, the precise language you use, and a total unquestioning compliance with what they say is the way to behave. Of course, this isn't just a problem for liberals. Extreme right-wingers can be just as self-righteous, obnoxious, intolerant, shaming, and nasty. Thanks to the explosion of social media fueling echo chambers where people only expose themselves to singular thought processes that they already agree with, we've regressed as a world back thousands of years to the days when we existed in tribes that rarely met other tribes. In your own tribe,